Well, hello and welcome to the Sports Arena Chair in Novi Sad. In Nisha, do beg your pardon, in the south of Serbia. We are some 250 kilometers, in fact, south of the Belgrade capital, which is good news for the Macedonian fans who've had a short ride from the border to the south to support their team here, because coming up very shortly, it is the last Group C match from Niš as Denmark prepare to take on Macedonia. Well, my name's Paul Bray. Thanks for joining us again here today. Well, earlier today, France comfortably beat Sweden 24-17 to take top spot in Group B on goal difference. There is confirmation of that result. And what this means is that the match coming up now between Denmark and Macedonia is a straight head-to-head to see who will progress to the next stage. If France had lost, and this is what the table looks like now, then Macedonia would have had to win by 7. But because France have won and gone top of the group, it means that even a win by 1 goal would see the Macedonians go through. Here are the referees for today's game from Spain, Andrew Marin and Ignacio Garcia. Experienced refereeing pair. Well, Denmark, after losing against Sweden on the opening day, played brilliantly to beat the tournament favourites France in their second match. But Macedonia have lost both their games so far against France and Sweden by big margins. And it has to be said that Denmark on paper certainly favourites here. But you never know in these crunch matches where a win is absolutely necessary. Things can suddenly turn. This is the Danish lineup. We're going to have the national anthems first, though, before we talk through the teams.
National anthem of Denmark.
So now the anthem of Macedonia. The stirring strains of the Macedonian anthem and a huge amount of support here. It is a short bus ride to the border. So Denmark then, the Danish right back Bjørgaard is their top scorer and should start alongside the impressive newcomer Giegel in the centre, and Larsen. Wingers Bille and Norgard always dangerous on the break, while Torsgaard is a strong presence on the line. And goalkeeping debutant Reve has played well, especially against France, but the more experienced Toft is likely to start. This is Christina Christiansson, and there is Louise Bjørgaard with 10 goals so far in the competition, playing a 35th international for Denmark. This the lineup then for Macedonia, who are likely to start with the experienced trio of Nikolic, Baramovska and Chervenkovska at the back, although newcomer Sadovski has been impressive and could start. Now, after an anonymous performance in their opening game for the captain, Andreeva, in goal, she did play very well in their second match. And there is Yulia Nikolic, who came out of a short-lived retirement, being persuaded by her coach that it was worth playing in one more Euro. There's Jan Putlik in the middle of the melee of Danish players, the coach since 1999 of the Danish national team. His assistant, Ulrik Kirkeli, just to the right. And quite a few Danes have made the trip here to Serbia to support their team. But they will be drowned out by the Macedonian fans, who will hope that the team of coach Gino Strezovski can pull off a shock here today and beat Denmark. And don't write them off, because Macedonia beat France in the qualifying events to get to Euro 2012. They are capable of a surprise or two, but so far they haven't shown that fire or that temperament in the early games here, I'm afraid, with two heavy defeats to France and Sweden. Well, need I say more? It is going to be noisy here. So this is going to be a straight head-to-head, and the Danes thought they might be throwing off, but Andrew Marin, the Spanish referee, points out that actually the Macedonians won the toss. So here we go then, Macedonia in the all-white strip, playing from left to right, throw off. Denmark in the red shirts today, who played a 4-2 defence very successfully against France a couple of days ago. The French really struggled to break it down. So for Macedonia, who have no naturally left-handed right backs, they've got 6 left backs. They will use a right-hander, and it's Nikolic who takes up that duty at the right back position. First attack for the Danish team. Cat calls and whistling start from the Macedonian supporters as they get possession. And Denmark open up with, in fact, Stina Jørgensen's been preferred at the left back position, the 22-year-old from Aalborg, who is the second top scorer in the Danish league, the number 28, with 66 goals. And the players struggling to hear the referee's whistle, and amongst all the whistling, as Susan Torsgaard, the line player, is impeded on the line. It's a free throw for Denmark. Oh, a shove in the back. Strezovski already telling the referees that the Danes have had too long. They will do all they can to unsettle a Danish team. They've had a number of injuries and they're really rebuilding now with Putlik. And it's the Danes who get first blood, courtesy of Stina Jørgensen. And a quick response. And it comes courtesy of Mladinovska on the line. Well, at the moment, the Macedonian team are testing the referees to see how far they can go, as we see that goal again by Mladinovska, the 26-year-old who plays for the Macedonian champions, Metalurg Skopje. In fact, 9 of the Macedonian team come from Metalurg Skopje. It gives them a certain amount of cohesiveness because they train together week in, week out. They have just 2 overseas-based players, Chervenkovska, who plays for Salerno in Italy, and Papudieva, the right winger, who plays for Bodrum in Turkey. So Denmark on the attack again, 2 minutes played. It's 1-1 here in Niš, in what can only be described as a hot atmosphere. The shot is overbounced, but the shove on Jørgensen gives another free throw for Denmark, as Bayramovska seems surprised at getting a yellow card. Well, the huge band of Macedonian supporters doing all they can to unsettle the Danes here. It's as close as you can get to home advantage for Macedonia, but they've given away a penalty. Nice pass into Torskor, the 24-year-old who plays for Midtjylland. Defender clearly inside the area. It's Mladenovska. So the captain, Andreeva, faces Norgor. Got herself completely off balance. Moved early and stumbled backwards. Just lost her balance a bit, the 34-year-old. She's the team's most experienced player. But they've hit straight back. Bayramovska. And they've stolen the ball almost immediately. Denmark attacking a little bit too quick. And absolutely nothing that Sandra Toft could do as Bayramovska scores a second goal inside a minute. And the noise, phenomenal here in the Sports Arena Chair in Niš. Long range shot, saved by Andreeva. Loose ball picked up by Mladenovska. Well, Macedonia will be hugely grateful to France for winning their match earlier on. If France had lost, it would have meant that Macedonia would have had to win by 7 goals, because they would have ended up in a mini table with France, Denmark and Macedonia on 2 points, assuming they won. Free throw. But with France winning and going up on 4 points, now it's literally a straight head-to-head. Whoever wins this goes through to the main round, although Denmark can make do with a draw. To the line. Mladenovska gets her second. Well, they'll be mindful that they started incredibly well, Macedonia, against Sweden 2 days ago, and then completely lost their footing and lost the match by 11. And Denmark will know that as well, that there's no need to panic early on. They're pushing very deep in attack, and a penalty. And it was unnecessary by Mitrova to foul, because she couldn't get the ball back to the right hand. If she'd just left her alone, that would have been a very poor shot. There's obviously an in-joke somewhere in there with the Danish supporters. Norgor, who scored 5 from 5 penalties coming into this game, prepares to step up once more to the 7-meter line. Top corner, Norgor. 29-year-old who plays for Team Tvis Holstebro. And the goalkeeper not remotely close to it. So we're coming up to 6 minutes played in the game. Macedonia leading 4-3 here in Niš, in a game that will decide the final team to go through to the main round at Euro 2012. Oh, save by Andreeva. She looked like she was going to do a star jump. Left her foot down though and just caught it with her heel. Oh, needed to release it to the winger. Too slow. Nikolic. He's had a mixed tournament, the number 14. 7 goals from 23 attempts. Just 23% success rate, as the referee has another quiet word. And Ignacio Garcia points once more to where the throw needs to be taken from, as Denmark have Pernille Larsen now in the central role. Oof, goes for the shot. It's blocked. Nikolic, I think, was trying to get the shot away. Was it Bayramovska? Free throw. Good defense by Bille, the winger. Plays in Norway for Larvik. Attacking foul. Possession goes back to Denmark. Little hand off Jørgensen into the wing. And as the goalkeeper comes forwards, the ball comfortably lobbed over the top, and it's Bila. Bila, who didn't go to the London Olympic Games, but when Burgor got injured, the other right winger, she did get called up briefly just before it started, but then they decided that Burgor would be okay, and Christina Bila's Olympic dream went up in smoke. Shot efficiency still only 35% for Macedonia. Danes are on 60%. Oh, beautiful play. A lovely individual effort by Biljana Červenskova. And lobs Sandra Toft, the Danish keeper. And Nikolic has taken a blow meanwhile. There's the coach, Gino Strezovski, leading his team to their 4th participation at the European Championships. Best result was actually in 2008. They finished 7th. They didn't play in 2010, didn't qualify. Denmark, for their part, are trying to rebuild, really. They were beaten bronze medal playoff team at home 2 years ago, as Jørgensen gets her 2nd. Well, they're hitting back, giving as good as they're getting. And Andreeva makes a save, but I think she's clattered into her goal post. And the fans singing louder and louder here. Still a long way to go. Nikolic's first goal, that was, for Macedonia. On the line goes Červenskova, and Nikolic's shot deflected by one of the defenders. It's a throw-in from the corner for Macedonia. And these two teams haven't played before in the official competition. Certainly coming into the competition, looking at the results so far, Denmark would be favourites on paper by some way, but Macedonia not to be underwritten, and also with effectively home support here. At least as much as they're ever going to get, but they did host the European Championships in 2008 when they finished 7th. And their fans do make a big difference, and penalty defending inside the area. Červenskova going in on the line, I think it was, and Nørgaard caught inside the area as the ball came straight back to her. Nikolic, and she scores. Nikolic has scored 2 from 4 so far in Euro 2012. And as we pass the 10-minute mark in the game, Macedonia leading by 2. High stakes match here, and of course a Macedonian victory would be a great way for the Macedonians to repay France, because it would mean that France would go into the next round with maximum points if that happened. Oh, a deflection. Andreeva seemed to have it covered. The shot by Lina Jørgensen, and the deflection by Mladenovska sent the ball back the other way. Shot efficiency has gone right up for Macedonia. It's on 70%. Červenskova is now at right back. There you go, Papudieva as expected, Pečevska on the wings, Nikolic, who's played 57 times for her country, 187 goals. Plays in Russia for Zvezda Zvenigorod. And Lina Jørgensen's picked up a yellow card now for Denmark. And the penalty's been given. Nikolic to make it 3 in a row for her. Third goal, second penalty. Well, the hope for Macedonia, and they said it before, they thought it was going to be harder against Swedes, who are maybe marginally more experienced than against Denmark, and they said, well, we quite fancy a game against Denmark because they are a younger team now, they're rebuilding, and we could have a chance. Well, they got what they wanted. It is a straight head-to-head, but Lina Jørgensen here hits back. Nice effort by the 22-year-old from Midtjylland. They've gone to this 4-2 defence, which terrorised the French 2 days ago. Sucked them in. Although the French did find solutions down the middle and into the line player. They just didn't spread the game wide and paid the price in the end. Free throw again. Solid defending by the Danes. Bonde getting in there and cutting the pass to the line. Oh, beautifully done. Ball into the line. It would have been a penalty anyway. I think the defender was standing inside. She was battered on the way through, but Mladenovska gets her third goal of the game. 26-year-old for Metalurg Skopje, veteran of 2 European Championships, also the World Championships in 2007. And Macedonia finished 12th. Looking to the line. Oh, bounced it too high, but a penalty's been given. And a 2-minute suspension as well. The foul on Suzanne Torsgaard. Mladenovska says, what on earth for? And that's push in the back, and I think they may have the wrong player because the push in the back came from Bayramovska. It may well have been for something a little earlier on. 14 minutes played then, the clock's been stopped, and now Movska comes into goal. She saved 1 from 4 penalties so far at Euro 2012. Can she stop Nørgaard? No, she can't. Nørgaard gets a third penalty. Denmark back to within 1. So Macedonia attacking short-handed. They've got to make this count because they won't be given too long to attack. Looking for the wing. No way through there, but Červenkovska gets the free throw. The Salerno-based back player, and Denmark have switched from 4-2 defence to 5-0-1 defence. And Louise Bourgois has got herself a yellow card. So 1 minute to go still on the power play. Denmark forcing right back Nikolic. Good save by Cecilie Greve, who's just taken over from Sandra Toft in goal. Just 20 years of age and 3 internationals to her name before coming to Serbia. Into the wing. They've got to spread it quickly here. 45 seconds on the power play to take full advantage. The line's free. They don't need it. Stina Jørgensen. And that 2-minute suspension proving problematic. 2 goals for Denmark and they're level again. Third goal for Stina Jørgensen, and once more Nikolic is being individually marked. She chooses to wait at the halfway line. The alternative otherwise would be to go in on the line. 18 more seconds before they're back to full strength again. Červenskova. Nikolic tries to come into play. She does go in on the line now. Looking to the line player. The line player's gone down. The wing's free though. And another great save by Cecilie Greve. And the 20-year-old, who was the scourge of the French team, making in particular a crucial save. Look at that pass off the ground. But I'm afraid not the best of shots taken from the wing. Mitrova making a bit of a hash of it, and just as Macedonia back to full strength again, they've given possession away. Denmark make a hash of it, but the ball is scooped up again. Possession stays with them, thanks to the quick reactions of Stina Jørgensen, the all-ball back player. Just got there ahead of Papudieva. So for Jan Putlik, still all square here in Niš, but he won't be unduly concerned. I'm sure they've studied very closely the video of the Macedonia game against Sweden, where they were even leading it late on in the first half. But whereas time went on, the greater strength in depth of the Swedish team told, and Denmark have good strength in depth as well on the bench. The problem for Macedonia is for their attacks to be fully effective. Oh, another great save by Cecilie Greve, and it set up a fast break, and straight down the other end, Augustensen. There it was, and that was a great chance, and Greve makes a third save from 5 shots, and that's the result. Augustensen, 4 seconds later, has it in the goal. 3 goals without reply now. And Greve, who's only been in for a handful of minutes, already on 3 saves. It's an injury to Bayramovska. Denmark, who've had an intensive preparation for Euro 2012. They played in the Møbelringer Cup at the end of November, where they beat Norway and Sweden, but lost to France to finish second. There's the incident. Bayramovska getting felled at the back there. She passed into the line. Denmark also played in October in the Golden League, which they won, beating France, Norway and Russia. Much to everybody's surprise, given that they'd brought this much younger, less experienced team, but they're showing that they've got all the wherewithal. But they do have one of the best leagues in the world. In fact, arguably the best league in the world. And it just goes to show the Danes have an enormous amount of talent playing in their league and available. Passive plays being warned, and Macedonia have lost possession in the end. Quick fast break. Augustensen tried to rush it a little bit too much, and Andreeva wisely slows the ball down. Strezovski, the coach, waving the pace down. And 4 turnovers for Macedonia, 3 for Danes. It's a 4-2 defence again. Not quite as deep as they played it against France, where they were out at 10, 11 metres sometimes. They're playing 2 out on about 9 metres. And we've got 12 minutes remaining in the first half. Denmark lead. Too many steps, the referees. And Augustensen's been felled by the shot, and Strezovski says that wasn't more than 3, and I have to say he may have a point. I didn't think it was. One, two, three. The landing step, the difficulties around the landing step, and she may have just had her foot off the ground before steadying herself the first time, and that might be what swung it for the Spanish referees. But normally, obviously, if you're in mid-air and you land, that's 0. The counter starts as you land. Denmark on the attack, 18.5 minutes played. Good shot, Andreeva's picked it up, but now it's a break for Macedonia. Danes are streaming back. They've got to be careful with their passing now. Chervenskova, Bayramovska looks for the wing, but she's fouled and she gets a free throw. Louise Burgos, I think, getting in the way. Strezovski feeding the pressure. Slow build up once more by Macedonia. They're taking their time here. Bayramovska off a defender, and that'll be a comfortable pick up for Greve, and back come the Danes on the break. Oh, fantastic pass. Augustinsson scores. But Christiansen was the one who made the pass. Number 21, there she is. Look at the accuracy of this pass. Perfect level. Augustinsson ran onto the ball. She gets a second of the game, and it's a 2-goal lead for Denmark. Six minutes without scoring now for Macedonia, while they've conceded 4 goals. Oh, Greve should have got it. She knows it, but Červenskova scored as Andrieva makes the save at the other end. But Mitrova's picked up a yellow card, meanwhile, for Macedonia for an earlier incident, and quite wisely, Steriova, the back player, comes up and moves her away from having a discussion with the referee about it. So past the 20-minute mark in this game, Denmark lead by just 1 goal. And they've changed now with Steriova taking over from Baramovska at the left-back position. Christiansen blocks the crossover, the 23-year-old. She's played 63 times for Denmark, 147 goals. She's at the front of the defence. Saved by Greve. Tall keeper, 185. Plays for Odense. And it's come off the post. Well, Andrieva looked at it and sat back instead of starting to run back straight away on the off chance. The lob took a while to land, but it hit the post and stayed in. Team timeout, meanwhile, has been called by Strezovski. Augustinson's 3rd goal. Well, they've got long attacks at the moment, the Macedonians. They've got to try and spread it a bit wider. They're getting more and more into the habit now, as they did in their opening game against France when they got into trouble early on, of trying to play it straight down the middle and not using the width of their attack. Of course, their main striking force is in the centre. Their most experienced players and most potent firepower comes from Baramovska, Červenkovska and Nikolic. And the number 14 for Macedonia, who announced a retirement from international handball in June. And within 3 months was persuaded to come back into the national team. Meanwhile, Putlik, he took over from Ulrik Wilbek in 1999 and has coached his team to a European Championship win in 2002. And of course, he was coach for 2 of Denmark's 3 Olympic titles when they won back-to-back in 96, 2000 and 2004, before then failing to qualify for the 2008 games. Oh, what a shot! Nikolic at her best. Saw the gap. They'll find some of the paintwork from the post still on that ball afterwards. So into the left-back position, Pernille Larsen has come in for Denmark, the number 15. Christiansen in the centre. Good strong shot from Burgaard right back, but it's well parried by Andrieva, to the delight of the Macedonian fans. Free throw. Nikolic nearly getting through. Still possession with Macedonia. On a 2-minute suspension for a push in the back. The foul on Červenskova sees Christiansen go off. There's the push. And although it looked like Augustinsson was being bowled over by the attacker, in fact, The attacker was being shoved into her. Little misunderstanding. There's a race on now. The Danes are there first. Oh, well, the Macedonians have got it, but I think they wrestled the ball. And Steriova comes up, thought she wasn't going to get the call. I would have said that Björgård was there. Oh, in fact, she didn't control it. She'd lost possession. And Steriova jumped over the top of her and grabbed it. Good call by the Spanish referees. Good defence by Denmark. Stopped the ball getting through. Pernille Larsen getting a hand in there. This is coming down the middle. Little change of direction, and the defence caught flat-footed. And the 28-year-old who plays for Viborg catches Nikolic completely flat-footed. Two-goal lead then for Denmark, who are short-handed. This should be a power play. They should be spreading it wide. Penalty, defending inside the area. Červenskova goes through, the 29-year-old. A little shove there, but also standing inside the area. And so Greve, who hasn't saved any penalties yet in Euro 2012 from 3 attempts, faces Nikolic. She scores her third from 3 attempts in this game, though. And a 5th goal overall down in the bottom corner. And it brings Macedonia back to within 1. So Denmark are back to full strength again. And Christiansen resumes at the centre. Now there is a gap, and that's going to go out to the side. It's a throw-in for Denmark. There's a gap at the back where the Macedonian defence is pushing out. Putlik is getting very angry, I think, with some of his players. I'm not sure if it's because he feels they should be exploiting, and you can see it's where Červenskova is pushing up onto Björgård, and there's space to exploit at the back there, just where Christiansen was trying to drive. Team timeout called by Jan Putlik. Well, I think he's seeing the opportunity, was frustrated that they weren't exploiting it enough. He wants them to drive in behind that front defender, and she is living dangerously, Červenskova, in doing that. She pushes up quickly onto Björgård. I mean, if you're going to do that, then do it early to stop the pass going in, and that way you've got time to react if someone tries to drive behind, but don't run out just as she's getting the ball. You've either got to be there and meet her as at the point of impact, but not start running afterwards. Strezovski equally excited in the Macedonian melee. So 4.5 minutes remaining in the first half. They are changing the defence now. Steriova is playing deep at the front, and you can see the space behind there on the other side. And they've exploited it straight away. Mette Gravholt, who's replaced Torskor on the line, goes into that space. And Červenskova again is running back. She's completely out of position, the number 15. And Gravholt is one of the newcomers to the Danish team. Just 7 caps beforehand. Here come Denmark again. Gravholt is actually waiting in that position. Christiansen into the wing. Nice big angle for the shot. It's starting to tick smoothly now for the Danes. Augustensen gets her 4th goal. They're individually marking Nikolic now, the Danes. They've switched for that 4-2 instead to a 5-0-1. Not enough space there on the line for the line player Michevska, who's replaced Mladinovska. Michevska, much bigger line player, 172 tall, 83 kilos. They've given possession away now, and Denmark break out. Christiansen with one of her darting runs. Switches back again into the wing, but still not enough space. That came off a foot, I think, accidentally. Baramovska remonstrates with Nikolic about getting the defence organised. As Gravholt, 27-year-old line player from Team Twist Holstebro, goes back in on the line. 2.5 minutes remaining. Ah, what a shot! Christina Christiansen hammers the ball. First goal for her. Still not bad shot efficiency for Macedonia at 60%, but Denmark on 73. Still with this 5-0-1 defence, marking Nikolic. Michevska comes out to help and brings down Christiansen. But it's a free throw, though, for the Macedonians. Not a particularly hard shot by Sazdowski, who's been impressive, the 22-year-old debutant for Macedonia, the number 5. Baramovska coming out and giving Christiansen a bad time there as Denmark make their substitutions between attack and defence, and back in comes Gravholt. Well, they're finding the gaps now, Larsen, and that's 4 without reply for Denmark. And 13-12 for Denmark has become 17-12. Larsen's second goal. And we're into the last minute now, and Nikolic is trying to go on the line to stay out the trouble. Penalty given. Luxembourg, the Viborg winger, says why. Well, she gave a good heave as she went in. It was a bit speculative, I have to say. But Mitrova, I think she was looking for the penalty, and so Toft comes back in for the penalty against Nikolic. Calmly dropped over the top. There it is again, broken wrist shot. Drops her wrist back, runs it off her fingertips. 1 second, and there's the buzzer. Well, after holding out well, Macedonia 1 goal behind with 5.5 minutes to go, but the goalkeepers for Denmark have given them all kinds of trouble. The 13-12, that 1 goal lead suddenly opened up, and at half-time, in fact, well, it's 17-13 to Denmark. A 4-goal lead. 63% success rate on the Danish attacks, but only 48% for Macedonia, even though their shooting percentage is at 50, about average. And you can see those gaps in the Macedonian attack when they weren't scoring at one point for 8 minutes, while the Danes piled it on, especially at the end there. Just 3 goals in the last 10 minutes wasn't enough, I'm afraid, against Denmark. Augustensen top scoring for the Danes with 4, but Nikolic with the penalties is top scoring in the game. The Macedonian back player with 6 goals so far. But they are showing signs of tiring, I have to say. For Denmark, 2 fast breaks, 3 penalties. Otherwise, it's well spread on the left, but the right back position, Bjørgaard not having so much success. 0 from 4 there. Macedonia, well, it is mostly down the middle and a bit to the right with 4 penalties and a single fast break. Well, we'll take a short break, but join us again for the second half. We'll see you then. So welcome back to the sports arena FYR in Niš in the south of Serbia. And the last 30 minutes of action for the city here in Euro 2012 before the teams move to Belgrade to morph into Group 1 in the main round. We know who 5 of the teams will be in Belgrade in the main round in Group 1. Norway, Serbia, the Czech Republic, France and Sweden, but the outcome of this match will determine who the 6th and final team to go through. Group 2, which will be based in Novi Sad, we know is made up of Hungary, Spain, Germany, Montenegro, Russia and Romania. Results from the preliminary stages are, at least with the teams that qualify, are carried forward. And then they'll continue to play the remaining 3 teams in their group. And at the end of the main round, the top 2 teams in each group go through to the semi-final, with the winner playing the runner-up of the other group. That's the format, and then the final in Belgrade in a week's time. Well, Denmark looking more comfortable here. Macedonia have held on a little like they did against Sweden. It's more whether they can do it for another 30 minutes. It's 30 minutes for glory, really, for them. Nikolic scoring 6 for the Macedonians, 4 of them from the penalty line, while Mladinovska is the second best scorer with 3. Denmark, well, it's fairly well scattered through the lineup. 9 players, or 8 players rather, scoring. But we know that Macedonia are capable of pulling off surprises since they beat France in the Euro 2012 qualifiers. Beat them 30-27, and then the teams met in the French home leg 3 days later, and the French put the record straight there with a 40-20 win over the Macedonians. So there is Louise Burgos. It's had a quiet first half, 0 from 2 for her so far. So we're just about ready for the second half to get underway. And it looks as if Cecilie Greve has made 5 saves from 10 shots in the first half. Will start for Denmark in the second half. So here we go then. Denmark throw off the second half. 4 goals up. 30 minutes where if Macedonia want to get into the main round, they've got to play out of their skin to beat the Danes, who after their win against France must be thinking, well, we've got a good chance to go all the way. Get ourselves on the podium maybe even. Into the wing, beautifully done. Mia Augustensen, her 5th. So Bayramovska, who wasn't playing at the end of the first half, comes back in again. They've reverted back to Pichevska on the left wing. And another shot and another good save for Greve. 6th save of the game. Oh, what a shame. Clever play, but the ball sails past the hands of Bonde. Oof. Hammers off the post. Unlucky for the Macedonians. Danish supporters managing to make themselves heard in the hall. Oh, nicely done. Gets the ball past Diana Naumovska, who started in goal in the second half. Goal coming courtesy of Stine Jørgensen, the second top scorer in the Danish league with 66 goals so far this season. That's 4 from 4 for her in the game. And they've kept with the tactic that they had at the end of the first half, Denmark, a 5-0-1 defence, individually marking Nikolic. That's off the foot of the player. They'll give the, well, I was going to say a free throw, but it's a penalty, defending inside the area by Louise Burgos. And Bayramovska not in a great position to take the shot, but Gets unexpected offering from the Danish defence. Nikolic takes it quickly. Didn't take long though. A very quick throw off, which the Danes love to do. You take too long getting back, and they will get you immediately. Now Macedonia hit back. Well, it's going thick and fast at the moment. There's the shot by Griegel, who's just come on, the 21-year-old. Only 19 internationals to her name coming into the game, and she scored 2 quick back-to-back goals, and Baramovska's gone off for a 2-minute suspension for a foul on that last action. So Griegel, who also plays at the front of the 4-2 defence when they're playing it, but obviously at the moment they've decided to opt back to a 6-0, but still quite deep. Free throw. And Greve, who's having such a good tournament, really making a name for herself here. Free throw. And they've got the ball now, long pass, nicely done, Luxembourg. The 24-year-old from Viborg. Lovely weighted pass to her as well. And Andreeva is going to go back in now. Now Moscow's experiment didn't quite pay off. And we've got an injury to Ivana Sazdovski, the 22-year-old from Vardar Skopje. Slips a little bit as well. It's a combination of hard shove by Burgor and her feet just going away from underneath her. She seems to be okay though. I was very impressed with her, Sazdovski. Hadn't played for her country before coming here, other than the training matches they were having against club sides. They've had a fairly low-key preparation, the Macedonians. They played Montenegro twice in October. Drew 1, lost the other by 8. Greve, another save. Oh, a long way wide. Luxembourg. Big angle as well. Should have done better. The inside post begging for it there. Shot efficiency going down, and the very tall Greve, 185, picks the ball out of the air. Quickly goes down the other end. That's how you do a lob, they say. Augustensen. Well, I wonder if team timeout's going to arrive soon. They've just conceded a 6-2 exchange in the first 5 minutes of the second half. Macedonia. Free throw. Not quite in control of the ball, Mechevska, but she does get the free throw nevertheless. 28-year-old who plays, as many of them do, for Metalurg Skopje. Nikolic, going wrong-handed, was hoping for a penalty. But she was fouled inside the area. She presses on, and technically she has driven the defender into the area, but a free throw. Griegel is pushing right up, the number 14 for Denmark. And they did this with France. They go from 4-2 to 5-1, then back to 6-0. But a long-range, rather speculative effort. Smuggled past Greve. Chervenskova. He's on 4 from 4. Quite impressive. But the margin's still big, I'm afraid, for them. 7 goals adrift. Macedonia. And Luxembourg, the 24-year-old from Viborg, not having a great time, but a dreadful pass by Andreeva. She had 2 players to pick from, and she put it in between them for Griegel to steal it. 3rd goal for the 21-year-old since coming on at half-time. Griegel stays right up at the front, marking Nikolic. As the gap gets bigger and the players are getting tired, then the mistakes are going to accumulate, I'm afraid, for Macedonia. This could become a very big goal difference by the end. Mette Graafholt gets a 2-minute suspension. And the newcomers, little push, enough to attract the attention of the Spanish referees, and so power play for the Macedonian team. And the Danes pick up the rhythm here. As 22-year-old Sazdowski gets up, and polite applause for her as she gets back to her feet. So can Macedonia try and capitalize now on this power play for the next couple of minutes? Denmark go back to a 5-0 defense, although still pushing deep on the far side. That's beautifully done. Papudieva. First goal of the game for her. They've really got to defend hard here now. Macedonia. Bjørgaard. Still too flat. And they all push out instead. Augustinsson walks in behind. It's almost as if they all realized that the defense was too flat, and all 3 of them went up together. One minute to go on the power play. Couldn't release the ball because otherwise she could have got it into Červenskova. Tried to spin it in between the goalkeeper's legs. Getting a little bit overconfident maybe. Greve saves it. Denmark come back again. Ball comes out nearly intercepted. 30 more seconds or so before Denmark are back to full strength. So Griegel in the centre. Quick player, he's got these darting runs, but also got a thumping shot. Oh, if you're going to do Kempe, you have to give it a little bit more curve on that pass. Not a bullet into the line. Nicely done. Simple play. Mechevska finishes it off. Červenskova, the provider. And they've done an injustice, actually. I think Sazdowski may have been the one who made the pass into her. Coolly done. 7 goals a deficit, but Denmark are now back to full strength again. Graafholt resumes on the line. The Holstebro line player. Oh, and the defence opens up. Complete misunderstanding, and Larsen with enough space to drive a bus through it. Second goal for her. And at full strength, they resume with their 5-0-1 defence. Denmark, Griegel individually marking Nikolic. Strezovski using the impressive Sazdowski, number 5, to try and rest the key players, maybe for a late foray. Nikolic gets away from a marker, but takes a rather rash, not particularly good shot Fantastic pass down the court. Luxembourg. Her second. But look at the pass into her. Brilliantly executed. Goalkeeper to the centre and straight out to the winger. And Denmark edge towards a 10-goal lead here. Well, assumption that Denmark are going to win this game. This result wouldn't be carried forwards because victory for Denmark will see Macedonia exit the competition, and they are now 10 in front. And it's appropriate that Augustinsson, scoring her 8th goal, should be the one to do it. 3-goal run without reply. 28-18 here it is, and Andreeva not left much chance, I'm afraid. Macedonian's not that good, but the word aggressive came into that one, and I think maybe their defence has become a bit lax. Nikolic there, who's being individually marked, the player who retired from international handball. She's only 29, mind you. It's early to retire, but she wanted to focus on her club playing. She's with Zvezda Zvenigorod in Russia. Played at 2 World Championships and 2 European Championships. Felt she needed a break, and but was persuaded to come back. The problem is all the attention that Denmark are giving her in defence. The other players are just not able to take full advantage of it and drive in. So Denmark will return back to a 4-2 defence as Jan Putlik asks Kirkuli, the assistant coaches, to stop so he can get his instructions in. And look at that fast break goal, 7 now for Denmark. They are punishing every mistake with that. That's their stock in trade, the fast break. Well, Nikolic will have a little bit more space now as Denmark switch back to their 4-2 that was working so well. It's given, and I think we may have a 2-minute suspension as well as Mechevska gets her second. She drives around, and it's Sophie Bloch-Sørensen, another one of the Danish newcomers who tried to get in the way and has got herself sent off. She's only been on 2 minutes, and now she's got a 2-minute break. Second, third suspension of the game. Oh, huge space on the wing. Absolutely no one there to help. Pichevska in the wrong position and made no effort to get back and cover Luxembourg. And Andreeva at the back there points accusingly to Pichevska. Into the wing. That's more like it. Pichevska makes up for a earlier misdemeanor and brings up the 20 for Macedonia. Into the line, beautifully done. Free throw. Mette Gravholt, the 27-year-old from Holstebro, just couldn't quite turn onto the ball. Denmark short-handed for another 30 seconds or so as Luxembourg comes in as a second line player. Passive play now is being worn, they need a shot. And it comes courtesy of Louise Burgård. Finally getting onto the score sheet. No goal inside the area, says the referee, against Pichevska, but she gets a free throw. Denmark, meanwhile, back to full strength. And she clearly landed, but it was a lovely play A lot of spin on the ball to get it around the goalkeeper, but her foot clearly inside the area. So into the centre, Červenskova. Baramovska at left back, Nikolic. It's the starting lineup all over again. Oh, brilliantly done. Červenskova, the provider. Mečevska finishes the job. Third goal for the line player. So into the attack at right back now comes Lina Jørgensen, 22-year-old from Midtjylland again. Oh, into the side netting. Block Sørensen, 26-year-old from Frederiksberg, breaking through after coming back from a 2-minute suspension and missing the target completely. And we're midway through the second half with Denmark in a comfortable 9-goal lead. And Červenskova taking a blow, she says, to the neck from Lina Jørgensen. Well, for Strezovski, it all started so well with the Macedonian team. They were pretty well level pegging, but I'm afraid that only lasted until midway through the first half when Denmark upped a gear, scored 4 goals without reply. They've switched back from their 4-2 defence. Oh, that'll be a 2-minute suspension. Looked a bit more like Greco-Roman wrestling, and she doesn't loiter too long. Lina Jørgensen knows she's off. Bit of a clumsy tackle. Got around the back of Baramovska. But can they capitalise on this 2-minute suspension? They really do have to now. Nikolic, and they don't. The ball's loose. And Denmark can afford to bring it up nice and easily now as they're short-handed. There is Greve, just 20 years of age. What a talent to find. 10 saves from 23 shots. Save by Andreeva, the loose ball's picked up. And no one charges forwards. The Danes are so quick at getting back, they've almost given up on that. Play on, says the referee. He nearly blew. And actually, although Mečevska's complaining, the line player who got felled there, it's good he didn't. The rebound fell kindly, and Červenskova finished the job off. Still a minute to go on the 2-minute suspension, and Jan Putlik has called a team timeout. Červenskova, who is playing brilliantly well. 5 from 5 for her. But at the end of the day, it's just a win. That's all that's needed here. It doesn't matter what the goal difference is in this game, because this result will not be carried forward by whichever team goes through, and certainly at the moment you will not get very long odds on Macedonia making a recovery. The Danes have got this match by the scruff of the neck, and they're shaking the life out of it now. It's just going to go one way. And still Nikolic appearing frustrated with Strezovski. Has her own opinions all the time, but checking the time, well, they've got 13 minutes and 15 seconds to make up an 8-goal deficit against a team that's clicking away and turning the bench. Christiansen is back in. Block Sørensen's getting herself a good run out. The number 3 for Denmark, who hasn't played so far in the competition. Jan Putlik giving a chance to shine here. Baramovska. Well, they managed to string 3 goals in succession against the Danes. Baramovska's first goal in the second half, 3rd in total. 7 goals in it. Denmark will be back to full strength in a handful of seconds. Break is on, that's nicely done. And 4 goals in succession. Peczewska, the 19-year-old winger, gets the ball from Meczewska, and it's an excellent run by Macedonia. Her second, and the gap down to 6 goals. And Stina Jørgensen has been put back on for Block Sørensen. Stina Jørgensen 5 from 5. Matched only on efficiency by Macedonia's Červenskova. Denmark at full strength. Buoyed a little bit by her last effort. Baramovska takes an unwise shot there from a distance, and back come the Danes. Christiansen. Nicely done. Gravholt. And it's a 2-minute suspension, I suspect, coming up as well. She seemed to be all over her. Baramovska is off. It's not Peczewska, I'm afraid. It is Baramovska, and not only that, but it's actually her second of the game. She's going to have to watch herself. One more, and it'll be a red card. Christiansen almost pushed that into the goal, and so after a good run of 4 goals, the Danes, in a matter of 1 minute and 10 seconds, score 3 of their own, and just show what's what here in Niš. Second goal for the Danish playmaker from Holstebro. Having a good season with her club, 47 goals so far in the Danish league. And Jan Putlik paces anxiously, but even he must realise that they're on safe territory. Denmark 8 fast breaks so far in this game. As Christiansen comes out again. Nikolic given a bit of room, but she can't quite frame her shots at the moment. Greve. Knocked out of play by Nikolic. Buys time for the defence to get organised, but the Danish fans, looks like they will be rewarded with, as we expected, a place in the main round. The last place at Euro 2012. All the other places are decided already, and once more the defence is sucked in. Being short-handed, it makes life even more difficult for them. And a clever pass in by Christiansen, cutting out the right back, sees Luxembourg in ample space to open the angle. We have an injury. Peczewska is down, and this is not looking very good at all. Beginning to look as if she's out cold. Block number 3 there, the 26-year-old who's played just 6 times for Denmark before coming here. Back on again. She's been used more in defence than in attack, but at least she's getting a run out, having not played in the opening 2 games. And there is the collision. And Peczewska, you could argue, well, were they blocking her from getting back to the winger? But the goal has been given. It's a 10-goal lead. And it's anxious moments, and I think here it is again as she goes down, and I think she then hit her head on her teammate's knee. Hence the problem, and anxious moments on court. She's been put on her side, and that's never a good sign. Oh, she's rolling back now. With a bit of luck, she's going to be okay, but her teammates are gathered around looking a little anxious themselves. Doctors are with her, though. Well, lots of fans have made the trip here and they hope somehow that Macedonia might pull off a shock win. The French victory earlier over Sweden by 24 goals to 17 meant that Macedonia just needed to win by the single goal. But it was always going to be a tall order against a Danish team who have been hugely impressive. And although they were level pegging till midway through the first half, the Danes have just got going. They've switched their defence from 6-0 early on to a 4-2, then they went to a 5-0-1. Sometimes they revert back to 5-1, bringing the front player back a little bit. And Strezovski is now on court. And the players, I must say, the demeanour suggests that Pechevska's okay. He's probably just needing a bit of time to collect herself, and they may well need to give her some help to get off court. Jönsson absolutely bowled her over, but I think it's that collision there where she then hit her head on a teammate's knee. So the other group at the moment playing out at the moment is Serbia against the Czech Republic. They're playing in Belgrade at the moment. That's the other closing match, if you like, in the preliminary stages. That result that will be carried forwards, and the blow to the head, they've, I think, as a precautionary measure, have put a neck brace on her. But it will just be a precaution, otherwise they would not be walking her off. And a round of applause rings around the sports arena Chair here in Niš for the brave winger. And everyone's on their feet. Well, play will resume from the centre after that last goal by Luxembourg. And onto the wing then will come back Mitrova, number 90, or 99 rather, the 25-year-old, who, like Pechevska, plays for Metalurg Skopje. Fumbled the ball, but a bit of holding going on Červenskova, and she gets a free throw. We're well inside the last 10 minutes of the game. Červenskova, the number 15, who's very versatile, moving around. She's a right-hander, so not naturally a right back. But she, with Nikolic, she's been taking turns covering that position. They just don't have a strong enough, obviously, left-handed back player. Oh, the loose ball is there, and Mečevska scores her fourth goal. Well, a high-scoring game, 59 goals in 51 minutes. Inside the area. Well, 13 turnovers for Macedonia so far, 7 for Denmark. And there's confirmation. So off goes Sazdovski, and Bayramovskaya is back on now. Suspension served out. It's the starting lineup. Oh, she could have gone through. The gap was there. Červenskova had gone in and put the block. She's saying, give me the ball, otherwise I'll do it. Won't count inside the area. Papudieva races back as Denmark come up on the attack. Lovely pass into the line, and Andreeva going backwards rather than forwards onto the shot by Gravholt. Second goal for the line player. Fifth top scorer in the Danish league with 60 goals. well, win by more than 5 goals, which is now definitely on the cards for Denmark. We'll see them move into second place in the group, but not that that's particularly relevant, since the Macedonian results will be discarded as they won't make it through into the side netting free throw. Baramovska, the player who's pulled them back to a 9 down. And another injury now for the Macedonians. Mitrova, they can't really afford to have her injured. She was the replacement winger for Pechevska, who's been taken off with the neck brace. And rather uncomfortable looking 25-year-old winger Mitrova. So Block Sorensen, normally a left back, being used in the right back position. Number 3 for Denmark. Oh, lovely pass by her, and that's a penalty, the foul on Gravholt. So Andreeva to face another penalty. Oh, it's gone wide. Well, it's not been a happy first outing for Block Sørensen. Her first major competition. Came on and got a 2-minute suspension. Missed an absolute sitter when she broke through the defence and shot wide of the goal. And has now missed a penalty. Free throw, good defending by Augustensen, who takes a blow to the face. In the process, it was accidental. And Grozdanovska, the winger, probably feels, well, you blocked me in the area. She just comes up and takes the ball from Greve, doesn't check on Augustensen, who will probably just have a bit of a sore head later on, not much more. Ignacio Garcia, the referee, comes over to see if she's all right. So we will play to resume. Grozdanovska, the winger, takes the free throw. And the 5-1 defence is now shifted. And Nikolic going off, and instead it's Baramovska who's being marked now, the number 11. Free throw conceded by Pernilla Larsen. And they get another one back. Chervenskova. Oh, they've given possession away straight away. And it's scored by Mitrova. And once more they get back to within 7. Chervenskova, who's on 6 from 6. First goal that was for Mitrova. We're inside the last 5 minutes. Good save by Andreeva, although not a great shot, in fairness, by Gravholt, to put it straight into her feet. Baramovska, the ball came back to her too late. She was calling for it, but she got it literally at the point of impact with Gravholt. And the defender sits on her again. Georgievska is now the playmaker for Macedonia, the number 10, while Nikolic has a break. Georgievska moves into the left back position at the bottom of the screen. Will try to flick the wrist, but the winger was free on the left-hand side. But in fact, Larsen scoops up the loose ball, but she's got her foot on the line. And it's a free throw once more for Macedonia. Oh, looking for the line player, but this time couldn't find them. Michevska too closely marked. Long pass is cut out. It's getting untidy at both ends now. Baramovska. Hesitation by Mitrova, and the chance is gone. Chervenskova wisely puts the ball back, and Putlik and Kierkeli Danish coaches in a quick discussion there, but they can't be too concerned now. The minutes are ticking away here. 3.5 minutes and a 7-goal lead for Denmark. Well, actually 6 goals. Well, they've now managed once more to string 4 goals together. Červenskova, hugely impressive. 7 from 7 for the Macedonian back player. Must be an MVP award in there somewhere as well. And there's a penalty being given, the foul on Gravholt. Sandwiched between Mechevska and Georgievska. Andrieva, the captain, has a word with Ignacio Garcia. She'll argue that Georgievska was taking no part in the action. She ducked out of the way, even though she was standing in the area, but it's still given. And scored by Stina Jørgensen. 6 from 6. She too has been impressive. Well, they've given as good an account as they can of themselves, the Macedonians. .59% success rate on their shooting, 71 for the Danes. 59 is actually not bad, but I'm afraid outperformed on the day by the Danes, who had a deeper bench and more choices and variety in defence as well. Good save by Greve. Ball shoots up in the air, but she picks up the rebound comfortably. Her 14th save from 35 shots, 40% save rate. And another penalty. Gravholt again fouled, this time by Bayramovska. Well, in fact, I would argue that the line player was already inside the area before she started to spin around. Same side and same result for Stina Jørgensen. 7 from 7. Looking to the line. Well played. Mechevska, much in evidence in the second half. Goal number 5. And all in the second half. Brings up the 30 for them. 67 goals we've had last 30 seconds of the game. So Denmark booked their place in the main round. They join Sweden and France and will merge into Group 1 in Belgrade with Norway, Serbia and the Czech Republic. And it means that the 3 teams going through from this group, Denmark, Sweden and France, will each take 2 points. Oof. Well wide, hits the hoardings, and there it is. And Macedonia's participation at Euro 2012 is over. Denmark have won 37-30, a high-scoring game. And as expected, the Scandinavians are qualified. 7 from 7 from Stina Jørgensen, and a 39% save rate for Cecilie Greve were the highlights for them. Although Macedonia can be proud of the fight they put up, but they were never in the hunt. Midway through the first half, the Danes were up and running, and they were just playing catch-up after that. But Červenskova, hugely impressive with 7 from 7 for Macedonia, and Denmark's hopes of stepping on the podium are still there after this 37-30 win over the Macedonians. So the fans will go back empty-handed. Their short drive south, back to Macedonia. 62% success rate on their attacks for Denmark. 50 for Macedonia, but it was that greater success rate on shooting, 68%, that made the difference. 3 2-minute suspensions for Macedonia, 4 for Denmark, and then 15 turnovers for Macedonia. And fairly even, but then at the end you can see how, despite a comeback by Macedonia, Denmark had too much in the bag already for them to be able to make much of that. Nikolic and Červenskova then 7 goals apiece, but it's Augustinsson who's top scorer in the game with 8 goals. And so for Denmark, 8 fast breaks, and that was a real telling factor. They punished every mistake, and then a good smattering of goals. The right back position, the only one where they didn't really have huge success. While for Macedonia, well, it's all straight down the middle with only 1 goal on each wing, but 5 penalties and 3 fast breaks to add to that. And so it means that France are top of the group. It's all on goal difference. Denmark second, Sweden third, and those 3 teams go through to the main round. Macedonia, their competition is over. Well, I hope you enjoyed the game. Thanks for watching again, and until next time from me, Paul Bray, good night.